Hello everyone, hope you're having a good Sunday. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the famous Chooza chicken. If you've ever lived in Nairobi or have visited Nairobi before, you'll have for sure heard about the Chooza chicken, and it's very famous there. Lots of people enjoy it. So today we'll be showing you how to make it with the sauce and everything. So starting with the chicken first, we're going to be using Cornish chicken, and we've divided the legs and breast pieces here, as you can see. And Cornish chicken works really well for this recipe because it's smaller, tastier, and easier to marinate and barbecue. So that's what we'll be using for this recipe. The most important thing about this recipe though is the sauce, and we'll be showing you how to make that. Okay, so time to make this sauce. If you've ever eaten Chooza chicken in Nairobi before, you'll know that the beauty of that chicken, or what makes that chicken so special, is the sauce. And we'll be showing you how to make it. There's a few different things that goes into it. So let's start by putting 2 tablespoons of ginger first. And we're going to mix it all in this big bowl here. I'm going to put 2 full tablespoons of ginger, and we're going to follow that up with 2 tablespoons of garlic. Here we have some garlic paste. You can just take some garlic cloves, throw that in a blender or NutriBullet, and this is the result. Mix it with some water, and 2 tablespoons garlic, 1 tablespoon of green chilies, same idea here. Take some green chilies, throw it in a blender with some water. And next we're going to be adding a teaspoon of white pepper. Just a teaspoon of that. We'll be adding 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay. Next we're going to be adding 1 teaspoon of garam masala. This is a spice you can find in your Indian local stores. It's called garam masala. Just look for what you can find in most local Indian stores. You can find this. So you're going to be adding 1 teaspoon of that, 1 teaspoon of another Indian spice called dhania, jera, another thing you can find in your local Indian store. We're going to be adding half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, also readily available in pretty much any supermarket. 1 teaspoon of citric acid or citric powder. And we're going to also be adding 1 teaspoon of soda bicarbonate. Throw that all into the mix. And finally 1 teaspoon of red chilies. Now with these red chilies you can add more or less depending on how chili or how less chili you want it to be. If you want it to be extra spicy, you can add 1.5. If you want it less, you can add 3/4 teaspoon or half a teaspoon. We're also going to be throwing in half a cup of canola oil into the mix, so measure half a cup. And we're going to follow that up with half a cup of vinegar. White vinegar is fine in this case. Here's what it looks like so far. And we're going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of apple red color, or red color, whatever you have is fine. And we're also going to add 1/4 teaspoon of an egg yellow color. Mixing these two will give it that orangey look that you're so used to seeing with the Chooza sauce. And now we basically take a tablespoon and mix this all up. So let's see how it looks. You can probably hear it sizzling, and that's because of the soda bicarbonate, but give this a good mix and you're going to be pleasantly surprised with how close this tastes to the real thing. Actually, when I tasted it, there was no difference at all. By the way, we'll also be using this sauce to marinate the chicken that I showed you earlier. So, before you marinate, you want to make sure everything is well mixed and that you have a consistent sauce. So you should have it looking something like this, kind of like a orangey red mix is what this looks like. Okay, next we're going to be putting this all inside a blender actually before we marinate it to the chicken, just so we get rid of all the powdery clumps in there that may have not mixed or dissolved. So we'll put this all in a blender, blend for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then use this to marinate the chicken. Once you have your mixture nice and ready, you can throw it in a blender like this and let it blend for about 3 to 4 minutes, maybe less actually, depending. If you have a lot more sauce that you've made, then maybe go longer, but if you have as much as we have, then you don't really need to have it go for that long. So 3 to 4 or 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll show you how to marinate. We have the sauce already after blending it. This is what it looks like. We're just taking out a small bowl so we can use that for dipping and eating our chicken with when that's barbecued and ready. So I suggest you do the same, save some on the side, and the rest you can use for marinating the chicken. Okay, time to marinate this chicken. So here's how we're gonna do it. Take the whole thing, pour it inside, just like that. Get your spoon going so you're not wasting any of that sauce. Be sure to get all of it in there. And I forgot to mention, but this is for 3 whole chickens. We've made this much sauce for 3 whole chickens. So decide how much you're going to make and go with that. But and I'll leave the recipe of the sauce in the description so you guys can refer to it. It's simpler that way. Oh, and as you marinate, you want to make sure you get your hands in there, get it all over the chicken, just like that. Make sure it's thoroughly coats the chicken. And once you're done marinating the chicken, you want to leave it to sit for an hour, just like this, before you throw it on the grill. So let's leave this to sit for an hour. We'll be back then and we'll show you how it cooks. Okay, so it's been an hour. We are ready to throw these chicken on the grill. As you can see, they're nicely marinated. So we'll leave this to sit and cook here for a bit, flip them over and let the other side cook. And at the same time, when we do that, we'll want to be continuously pasting this sauce to the chicken to keep it moist, keep the marination on there so we don't lose that flavor. So we have some of that sauce that's drained or left in here. We're going to be using this, we're going to be brushing it onto the chicken every time we flip it over, essentially. Flip the chickens over after, we usually flip it over after 3 to 4 minutes, sometimes maybe 5. We're cooking on high heat, so today we flipped it over a couple minutes earlier. We got that nice char grilled look to the chicken, as you can see. Looks really, really good. And now we want to take our brush, get some of that sauce in there, and simply paste on to the chicken, just like that. Be generous. What this does is it basically ensures the chicken cooks moist and you lock in all of that good flavor in the sauce. Because as I said earlier, this recipe is all about the sauce and nothing else. So we want to make sure we get as much of it as we can onto the chicken. Just like that. And we'll let this cook now for a couple more minutes and then do the same thing, flip it over, repeat the whole thing with the sauce again, see how well it cooks and how long it cooks for, and then take it out and we're basically ready to serve. Chicken's finally ready to be served, and this is what it looks like after you grill it. Looks really tasty. I'm gonna be trying this right now. We've also cooked, as you can see, some cassava that goes really well with this particular dish, and then we have this sauce on the side. So you need to make sure you use this sauce as dipping for the chicken and the cassava. And yeah, that's about it. It's pretty simple once you nail down the sauce recipe. The chicken part and marinating is all pretty straightforward. So yeah, try it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. How does it compare to the Chooza chicken you have tried in Nairobi, Kenya? I think this is pretty much spot on, if not very close to the actual thing. So try it out and let me know your thoughts. Also, if you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more videos similar to this sort of recipe, Kenyan style, East Indian style dishes, so definitely subscribe for future videos. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Enjoy your weekend.